First of all, you have to clean the data, prepare it, then you also have to draw your analysis plan, and then you also have to interpret what you have gotten. Now, each of these steps are very important and crucial. So, we're starting with the data cleaning and the preparation. First of all, we have all heard about garbage in, garbage out. What it stands to reason is that anything that you put into the system or the statistical software, it will give you results, whether it is garbage or it's not. And so it's very important that whatever you are feeding into the system is correct or is a data that is a reflection of what you have done. And so you have to take your time to clean the data. And cleaning means that perhaps, for example, you have here, it's either the person is a male or female, but you realize that there is something else there, maybe age. Instead of female, you see age, or you see a number like 54. This is not supposed to be there. Age is not supposed to be there. 54 is not supposed to be there. Sometimes you find empty spaces. So instead of having PS here, there'll be nothing. So you realize by your screening that that is an anomaly. Then you have to correct it. And the way to correct it is to go back to the source data where you got the information from to see if it's possible to get back those information or the data. If it is possible, then you get it. If it's not possible, then you can use proportional distribution to fill in the spaces. That is if they are categorical variables like age, sorry, like gender or sex. So assuming that you realize that here is age and then here is 54, and then based on your proportional distribution between male and female, you realize that out of 100 sample that you took, 80% or 80 of them are females, and then only 20% are males. Now you have a space where you have maybe you have four empty spaces. If you use ratio and proportion, how many will be for males and how many will be for females? I'm saying that you have a data set taking 100 individuals. So you take the gender or the sex of 100 individuals. Now you realize that when you entered it, there were four empty spaces. Now you can't go back to where you got the information or the data from to ask them again their sex. If that is possible, that is the best approach to fill it. So you go back there and then identify the individual with that unique ID and ask the person's sex. When the person tells you, then you come and enter a year or you change it. Now, if that is not possible, I'm saying that we can use proportional distribution, where you look at the responses that are there. So you realize that 80 of them, or 80%, let me use percentage, 80% of them are females and 20% are males. I'm saying that we are going to fill in the spaces or the empty spaces based on proportional distribution. So we are going to say 20% of the empty space should be males and 80% of the empty spaces should be females. The reason we are doing that is that when we fill it this way, we know that it won't affect the total distribution at the end of the day. Because if we end up making all of them males, it's likely to affect the distribution. We may shift from 80% to maybe 60%. But if we use the proportional distribution of the majority carrying more and the minority carry less. Then at the end of the day, the effect of we adding our own thing to it wouldn't neutralize anything. It will still be the same. I hope you understand what I'm trying to put across. So in this case, we'll fill just one space for male, and then the remaining three will be what? Females. And we do it, I hope you understand. Now, this is a categorical outcome. That's male and female. Assuming you have the age or weight, height of the individuals of the population or the sample you took. And once we talk about once we talk about continuous variables or quantitative variables, what comes to mind is measures of central tendency. That's how we describe them. That is by mean, median, and then mode. So when you have empty space for example, this age, see here, look at it's supposed to be what? It's supposed to enter their years, their age. So we have 20, 24, 22. But somebody entered what? 1998. It's not possible that somebody will be 1998 years. So it's likely this is a mistake. And as reasonable humans as we are, what do you think is the age of this person? That that thing is supposed to be age by the person who the year of birth. Do you understand? So you know that since it is 1990 something, it means it's a year of birth. So you change that and put what? 26, 5. So you replace it. So this, for example, is what we call the cleaning. Then when you have empty spaces, how we treated the categorical ones by looking at proportions. Here we look at the mean. So you calculate the mean of the continuous variable, all the ones that have been entered. You calculate the mean. And then you do plus or minus maybe 2. And that is what you are going to use to fill in the empty spaces. So assuming that we are dealing with this, assuming our data set is just the highlighted the highlighted portion, and then this 24 is missing. So we want to fill in that space. So we calculate the mean. Mean is the same as average. So you see the average is 23. Do you understand? So we do plus or minus 2. So by that we fill here with what? 25 or 20. You see that it does not really deviate it from the actual value. It is now 22.5, approximately 23. If we make it 25, approximately 23. Because years, we don't report the years in this month. Please, I hope you are following.
Yes.
So these are ways in which we can fill in the species or clean our data. Do you understand up to this point? So situations will also demand that you can't do what I'm saying. You can't fill it. Maybe so you can either remove the empty spaces or you replace it as we are doing. Now, the disadvantage of removing or taking out the empty spaces is that perhaps other variables or other variables have been provided. Like those, maybe he has age, he has have maybe a particular variable you are assessing, maybe height. If you take it out, if you take the height, the empty space out, it means that you are going to lose all the remaining variables. So you can make a decision either to take the empty spaces out or you replace it or you treat them as we have done. So those are the three main ways in which we can treat or we can clean our data. To spot empty spaces, maybe errors in entry. To solve it, we go back to our source data. We try to locate this particular empty spaces or IDs that are associated with this error, and then we correct them. If we know that the empty spaces, when we take them out, it won't really affect our data, we can take out those empty spaces, or we employ statistical methods as I've described earlier to fill in the spaces. So you can do it manually like the way we've done it, or you can employ imputation methods. Imputation methods can also be employed to fill it. So just type some code and then fill in the spaces for you using the main values as we have done.